So Russia just unveiled their brand new stealth fighter, and while it might look similar, there are some very big changes. And the US, and more importantly China, are taking note. I'm Thomas Mott, this is MachSquawk. It's not every day we get to see a brand new stealth fighter take off for its maiden flight. So the fact that Russia not only unveiled but actually flew their brand new 5th generation fighter is a pretty big deal. Just this past week, Russia unveiled their brand new Sukhoi Su-57 Felon, which, yes, looks just like the original Su-57 that first flew back on January 29th of 2010, except when put side by side, which Russia did thankfully in this photo, there's a massive difference. This new 5th gen Russian fighter is a 2-seater. As you can see, a brand new design elongated canopy with, of course, a second cockpit. Obviously, a second pilot with a modified fuselage to go ahead and fit the extra body. Obviously becoming the first ever Russian twin-seat stealth fighter. Now, while sure, a 2-seat stealth fighter is cool, but it raises a big question. Why? Why does Russia need a 2-seat version of a stealth 5th gen fighter that they first flew almost 2 decades ago? And well, that answer is a bit complicated. First off, we do know this is not a 2-seat variant simply designed to train Russian pilots on the Felon platform, which what the United States Air Force has done for years on the majority of their 4th gen fighters, like this D model F-16 and D model F-15, both used to train future Viper pilots and Eagle pilots as well. And also, technically, yes, they did do an A-10 2-seat version back in 1979, but they only made 2 of these YA-10Bs before Congress killed the program. But 2-seat A-10s aside, as cool as they are, the main focus here is why a 2-seat Su-57. And there really are 2 reasons, mainly drones and money. The future of all fighter platforms is unmanned loyal wingman drones, which will allow a manned aircraft to command and control his own mini drone strike package. And the thought process here is very simple. You can send unmanned crafts into sandboxes and areas of operation that are too dangerous for the pilot himself, and strike targets that, again, are too far away or too dangerous to get close to. Use the unmanned drone, and it's that simple. And this is nothing new. The United States and China, and I guess Russia as well, have been working on these unmanned loyal wingman drone programs for a very long time. The US has a ton of different variants already flying, like the XQ-58 Valkyrie, and of course there's the Chinese FH-97. And then of course, Russia has an AI drone wingman of their own, their stealth, quote-unquote, S-70, which, as shown here, is test flying alongside a Felon in this video. And while yes, AI is going to be dramatically involved in all of these unmanned aerial drones, having somebody in the back of a jet with an actual manned pilot is only going to help command and control these drones of the future. And that right there is probably one of the main reasons why Russia wants to put a backseater, a weapons system officer, in the back of a 5th gen fighter to command and control AI drones. Now, of course, controlling drones will not be the backseater's only job, as he'll do typical Wizzo stuff as well, like controlling sensors and electronic warfare, long-range targeting, and of course, networking with other Su-57s. Think of this new Russian fighter as their own version of the F-15 Strike Eagle, or really the F-15EX, which is technically America's newest fighter, which did surprise a lot of people when unveiled because it had a backseater, once again, likely for drone warfare. With the idea behind the F-15EX, obviously having a backseater, is to be able to command and control not only the massive amount of ordnance the new Eagle is going to carry, but obviously the unmanned drone program as well. And so yes, it's pretty obvious. Backseater, control drones, that makes a ton of sense. But it's not the only reason here. It's also a direct response to China, not really militarily, but more for money. First off, China technically beat Russia to their own game here with a 2-seat version of their 5th gen fighter, the J-20B, back in 2024, which of course, to no one's surprise, China confirmed was done for AI drone control and electronic warfare and long-range targeting. But when it comes to making a 2-seat Su-57, the idea here is not to combat China, it's to go ahead and beat China out for the second-hand market and selling these aircraft to another country, as Russia likely views this new 2-seat D model Felon as potentially the perfect export for a country like India. The Indian Air Force has always preferred 2-seat variants with multi-role flexibility, as they have a current active fleet of over 260 2-seat Su-30s is a great example. Now, these Soviet-built flankers are obviously super capable, multi-role all-weather fighter, but they were built by Russia back in the 1980s. And Russia has sold them to at least 11 countries across Asia, Africa, and South America. Now, Russia and India originally had an agreement to sell the single-seat Su-57 to India, but that agreement went ahead and fell through, as the FGFA joint program, as it was called, was designed to help sell these single-seat Falcons to India, but it fell apart a couple of years ago for a multitude of reasons, including India's stealth concerns, engine delays, and of course, maintenance worries, all of which have plagued the original Russian Su-57s since they came online back in 2010. But now perhaps the 2-seat variant could be enough to go ahead and get India on board. And of course, from a Russian perspective, this would help drive money back into their own struggling Felon program. Since that initial flight back in 2010, Russia is estimated to only have currently between 30 and 40 of the 5th gen fighters, with about 20 or so likely combat capable. And it's likely also not a coincidence that Russia unveils a two-seat variant not long after China unveiled theirs, as now it seems to be an arms race to sell to countries in the Middle East, in Asia, and Africa, and so on and so forth. Being able to demonstrate a flight-capable two-seat Su-57 is basically a marketing ploy to all these other countries saying, hey, don't buy a J-20, why don't you go ahead and buy a Russian-made Su-57 that does everything you want it to. Now, of course, I do find it very interesting to view this all from the American perspective because we have China and Russia both making twin-seat fifth-gen fighters, yet America apparently has no interest in diverting from a single seat. As of course, the US's two current fifth-gen fighters, the F-22 Raptor and F-35 Lightning, obviously have never had a two-seat version from the start. They've been single-seat from day one and will continue to be from here on out. But of course, the F-22 is reportedly on its way out, as a sixth-gen fighter replacement is apparently on the way in production, potentially flying soon, but that also appears to be a single seat. And while we don't have official confirmation on that, all indicators from experts seem to view the Air Force's next-gen air dominance F-47 fighter will in fact be single seat and not two, with the top American brass all emphasizing that the hallmark of the next-gen platform will be, what a surprise here, managing drone wingman, but will likely only need a single pilot due to what the Air Force keeps describing as heavily automated with plenty of AI assistance. We also have to at least mention the physical questions of stealth itself because a second cockpit obviously means larger canopy, bigger fuselage, and more weight, potentially creating a larger radar signal. I mean, a second pilot means a second ejection seat, second displays, a second life support system. It all takes size, weight, and potentially increases the radar signature. Obviously, though, in terms of the F-47, we will not know for sure until it's officially unveiled sometime in the future. But for now, America seems very comfortable with single-seat fighters, with simplified crew structures, more pilot autonomy, and obviously future AI support. All while Russia and China are betting on two mines being better than one, all while keeping an eye on India to perhaps further fund future internal programs. Now, of course, plenty more news and rumors happening in the next couple of days and weeks here on this brand new military aviation channel. I appreciate all of you guys subscribing and finding it, dropping a like down below, leaving your thoughts in the comments section. It's just the start, but there are plenty more coming, and I appreciate you guys hanging on for the ride. I'm Thomas Mott. This has been MachSquawk.